friends, it's Michelle with Garden Jargon, and I am here in my kitchen today. It is January 9th. It is about 20 degrees outside. We have had icy rain for the last 2 days. It is disgusting outside. It is a sheet of ice. I went to church this morning and it was a mess. But welcome. For those that are new, I am Garden Jargon. That is the name of my channel. I am a gardener. And I do a lot of tutorials in the gardens throughout the summer. I have 4 gardens that I manage and have founded. And when it is the winter time, I tend to forget to shoot content videos of things that I do in the kitchen or things that I'm building in the basement or dealing with my worm farms. So I'm glad today I remembered to share this recipe with you because I make this recipe about 5 times a year, mostly for parties. But I love this recipe because it is a recipe that you can use all fresh ingredients out of your garden in the middle of the summer. And it is a crowd pleaser. So when you take this salsa that I'm about to show you the recipe for to a party, in comparison to like a jarred picante sauce or something, this recipe is going to be the one that disappears the fastest, especially if you pair it with a really good Mexican chip and not just like a Tostitos or something like that. So I wanted to share the ingredients with you. I do not do a lot of measurements. I eyeball everything in this recipe because it is a texture thing and a taste and a liquid kind of recipe, if you will. I hope that makes sense. If a lot of you have cooked in the past and watched my cooking videos, I kind of do a dash in it a little bit, and I'll put a general description of what is in this recipe in the description, so you can definitely take a look at that. But this is like a foolproof recipe. You do not need to worry about doing it too much. If you do, if you put too much onion in it, then you know next time don't put too much onion in it. It's not a big deal. And what I tend to do is I chop everything, and then I add little bits as I want. And I'll stir it and I'll taste it. And if I think it needs more celery, I'll put more celery in it. Or if I think it needs more heat, I'll put more jalapeno in it. Be careful with the jalapeno because that flavor does sneak up on you though. So what I'm going to do is just share with you the ingredients that is in this recipe. And then I'm going to get to chopping. And as I'm chopping, I'll probably do a time lapse on that and then come back and then we'll mix it up together. But this is basically what I consider a fresh, sweet, spicy salsa. Fresh because it has the component of this ingredient, celery. And it is such an amazing ingredient to be in a salsa. If you have never had celery in a salsa, you need to try it because you get all the kick of all the stuffed salsa with the fresh bell peppers and the tomatoes. And then you get that fresh kick from a piece of celery. Think about when you're eating a chicken wing and a spicy chicken wing and you bite into a piece of celery. That flavor, that pop of freshness and coolness that you feel with celery, that's what's in this recipe. Paired together with fresh cilantro. So everything here in this ingredient list you can find in your garden. Cilantro, if you're lucky to be able to grow it, because I am terrible at growing cilantro. Celery, I have not grown it yet. This year is my year. I'm going to try to grow it this year. Bell peppers, I can grow those all day long. Same with jalapenos. I lied. I can't grow these in my region, so I buy them from the store. Lemons and limes. I can grow garlic. I can grow onions. And I can grow tomatoes. But I didn't have any fire roasted tomatoes in my canned inventory cabinet downstairs, so I'm just going to use some canned ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and start chopping up, and I'm going to keep every ingredient separate, and then we will move forward into the next portion of the video. Okay, so what I'm doing here is chopping up the jalapenos first. And the first jalapeno, I left the seeds because I do like a little heat, but I don't like to burn my mouth off. So the second 2 jalapenos, I did remove the seeds because I love the flavor. Next thing I used is this red peeler of garlic, which is an amazing tool, but my garlic was pretty terrible. It was tiny cloves, so I went ahead and got the stuff out of the refrigerator so I could use that. Then I moved to the red onion. I did a half a red onion, a half a yellow pepper, a half a orange pepper, a half a red pepper, a half a green pepper. And I put them all in the same bowl because we're going to use it to stir up everything anyway. Then I did 2 celery sticks and roughly chopped them, trying to keep everything in the consistency of the same size. My tomatoes, I went ahead and did a rough chop on those too to keep them the same size as the veggies that I already chopped up. Cilantro, I always remove the sticks or the stems, whatever you think they're called, and I chop it up and throw that in there also. All right, so as you see, it's a lot of chopping. I'm sure there's a gadget, a chopper gadget or a food processor that you could do, but when I make something like this, it comes from my heart and through my hands, and that's why I chop. So I have made this recipe also with the small bag or the bags of the mini bell peppers, and that's fun too. Just roughly chopping those peppers as well, the little baby peppers, because there's less meat in those baby peppers than there is in the big peppers. So this is the first time I've made it in a long time with the big bell peppers. That's why you saw me kind of rough chopping after I diced them up, because I want little tiny pieces. I want all the pieces to kind of be consistent in size. And as you can see, that's what I was going for here. And then also my jalapenos, they're roughly chopped too, so they're about the same size. And I hope you can see that. I hope that focuses in. So that's what I wanted to do with this recipe. So I did a half of red, orange, yellow, and green pepper, a half a red onion, 2 cans of the roasted red bell pepper. You may have seen me use this awesome gadget for peeling garlic. I've seen this on a million YouTube videos, and I finally just invested and got one through Amazon. I'm not affiliated with that company at all, but I did get it, and I really did like it. I was just fooled by my garlic. My garlic was wonky. It's like where you have a big clove and you think you got a big nice clove, and no, you cut it up and it's tiny 5 little bitty cloves. So that's why I went ahead and got out my hand. Gosh, Molly, you okay? The dog's over there choking. Garlic out of the fridge just to add some more because I do love garlic. And then I did 2 bibs or 2 stalks. 2 of these of celery. That's what I put in there too. But I also reserved the liquid because I am a consistency girl and I like to see how much liquid is in my salsa when I make it. So in there, I have my yellow peppers, my red peppers, my orange peppers, my green peppers, my celery, my red onions, and the tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this up. And it already smells really good. And the star of the show with this salsa, guys, is really the celery. So I might even in looking at this now, I'm probably going to chop up that last thing of celery, put that in here, because that's really the kicker of this whole salsa. When people eat this, sometimes they'll take a bite of it because they can't see the celery. I mean, the celery's green, so it just kind of blends in like a pepper. And people are like, gosh, it's so good. What is that flavor? It's the celery. And as soon as you mention celery, then their light kicks on and you can see it in their face. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so good. I even sprinkle a little bit of celery salt in here when I put my spice in there. All right, so that's mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and put my lemons and limes in here. I do at least two limes. I got my juicer. At least 2 limes and 1 lemon. There's a sweetness that comes with lemons, and that's why I like it. If you do not have one of these lime presses, this steel tool that I'm using here, invest in one. It's the best. It's really good also when you're making cocktails. The lemon was a little bit more on the large size, so I had to cut it up in 4ths. I'm saving all of my rinds and all of my vegetables scraps for either my worm farm or my compost outside. There we go. some of the juice. You can't take it away, so just add it slowly until you get the consistency you like. Add in my garlic, my fresh, that I chopped up with my hand, so little love is going in there. And about a teaspoon of the store-bought. When I chopped up the jalapeno, I'm not sure if you saw, but the first jalapeno that I put in here, I left the seeds in, and the other two I left with the seeds out. Took the seeds out. Apparently the flavor is in the seeds, or the heat is in the seeds, so that's why I left some of it with the seeds. So I put probably 1.5 jalapenos in here for now. I'll definitely add more. But again, you can add flavor in, you cannot take it out. As this sits in the refrigerator, also all the juices get pulled out of there after you add the salt. That's roughly chopped cilantro. I did a whole bunch, not a whole bunch, but a whole bunch, whole bushel, I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys can grow celery, but if you've ever grown celery successfully, could you please comment below how you do it? I'm in Chicago, grow zone 5B. I can't for the life of me grow celery. I have to purchase it, and then I buy a lot of it when I find it in big bulk, and then I put it in the refrigerator in the Debbie Meyer green bags just to save it, because I can't grow it for the life of me. Now I got my celery salt and my pepper. I eyeball. I don't get too excited about it. Again, adding just a little because you can always add more if you want it. This is not liquidy enough for me, so I am going to go ahead and add the rest of this tomato sauce. Juice, I should say. And I do can tomatoes, so I have plenty in the basement, but none of them were fire roasted this year. I did not take the time to fire roast any of my tomatoes in order to can fire roasted tomatoes. And I will make time to do that next year because, again, I said this is something I make at least 5 or 6 times a year. I'm going to chop up that piece of celery right now. How you doing, Molly? My little Yorkie Molly. She's not like my first Yorkie, Daisy. My first Daisy Yorkie, she would sit at my feet when I was on the chopping block like I am right now, begging for snacks. I swear the dog was a vegetarian. She loved anything I dropped on the floor. Molly is a little bit more finicky. She doesn't like vegetables as much as my Daisy did. I actually adopted Molly when she was 8 years old 3 years ago. So she will be 11 years old this year in February, next month. What part of the country are you guys in? And can you grow some cilantro? Can you teach me, please? Gosh, I use it so much and I can't grow it. It makes me crazy. But I'm not giving up. I have 4 gardens, so I'm going to put it in all 4 gardens and see what I can do differently in each garden. Maybe use a raised bed, maybe put it in a container. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've tried it from starts, from the nursery. I've tried it from seed. Whoa! Making a total mess. Goodness. Oh my gosh, this looks delicious. Have a look, guys. Can you see celery in there? I bet you can't. Let me open up this delicious bag of chips. This is a local company here out of Aurora, Illinois. It's Totopos. Totopos chips. My favorite chips. I throw them actually in the toaster oven and get them a little bit toasty before I actually eat them. Brings back good memories right there. The flavor. Salt is needed. This is going to sound funny, but a little sugar too. There's a lot of acidity in here because of the tomatoes and all the lemons and limes. About a half teaspoon of both. I use pink Himalayan salt and just regular old sugar. I don't taste a lot of heat from those jalapenos, so I may be adding more right now, but keep in mind, after you let this sit overnight, it does tend to ooze the juices of the jalapenos into your salsa and make it super hot. There we go. I think it might be good. The heat's sneaking up on me now from the jalapeno. It's so good, guys. About a quarter of this bowl is going to be gone before the end of the night. I probably could have done with 2 limes and 1 lemon, not 3. I bet you it would have been just fine with that much. But as you can see, this is a big batch. Using 4 peppers, a half of an onion. Look how much salsa's in there. That's heavy. So that's perfect for a party. I'm going to add these now. I can't add them all. Too much to make my mouth sweat. So I hope you're happy to have joined me in my kitchen today. My destroyed kitchen is always messed up in here. But I was getting ready to make this, and I tend to forget when I'm out of the summer and I'm not shooting videos in the garden. I forget to pull the camera and the tripods out and share with you what I'm doing. Like I just redid all my worm composting bins. Totally forgot to film it. So when I do feed them in about 2 weeks, I will shoot a video about that. Because I do love to worm compost, to get the compost, the castings for the garden and for my indoor plants, and it's a game changer for all of that. Compost tea is made from that. We are going to be going through my seed catalogs here real soon and inventorying the seeds that I do have and how I store my seeds. So if you're interested in something like that, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. That way when I do post a video, you'll get a notification by email to say, hey, check out Michelle at Garden Jargon, just posted a new video. And you know what? Try my channel out for a couple weeks. See if the content that I'm sharing with you is something that's valuable to you. I am not a scholar, but I do learn everything off of YouTube. So I hope that what I have learned from YouTube and deciphered it into the way that I can understand it and share it with you is helpful to you in your future, or for one of your friends. If your friends garden or cook or worm compost or anything like that, even sharing my videos is very helpful if that's the way you want to help support my channel. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Again, it is January 9th, 2022. Happy New Year. First video of the year. And next couple weeks, pay attention. I'm going to do a video on catalogs as well as worm composting. So I hope you join me in those videos as well. You guys take care and God bless.